Hey guys, and welcome to a disgusting game of Total War Warhammer. I'm a Rubber Duck of War, and the reason this game is going to be disgusting is, of course, because we are playing the disgusting, yet also kind of cute forces of Nurgle, though we have no Nurglings on the battlefield today, unfortunately, so certainly outweighing the cuteness. And our opponents shall be the Ogre Kingdoms of a rather classy double giant build. This must be Professor Pone in disguise. Should be a good fun game. We're going to be trying to kite with Nurgle, which is something that I never really thought would come out of my mouth. Kiting with Nurgle, and trust me, it is not easy whatsoever. You have very few tools to do it. We're going to be trying to use the tools that we do indeed possess. Without further ado, let's delve into this. And up in the skies, we do have our first mobile range troops, and they are the Plague Drones of Nurgle Death Heads. These guys have a relatively decent missile attack. It's got a bucket ton of missile strength. You can see there are 125, applies poison, fantastic armor piercing as well. The problem is 7 ammunition, so you really have to make every single shot count, and even then, they still have to get a lot of work done in combat, actually pay for themselves. They look really cool though, and hey, that's always got to count for something. We have double Soul Grinder as well, looking to bring the pain from the enemy from afar, and then we have a load of Forsaken of Nurgle, 1, 2, and 3, hidden in the back with a single unit of the lovely Plague Toads, waiting in the jungle to pounce upon any enemies who do get a little bit too close and over-eager. Up in the skies, we do have a Herald of a Nurgle of Death magic coming in with the Purple Sun as well as Spirit Lead. Should be a good, fun game. As for my opponent's build, he does have 1 unit of Noblar Trappers waiting in the wings. Everything else is in a big, fat, juicy, long battle line. We have Man-Eater Ogre Great Weapons dotted all the way along, my god, plus the Man-Eater Iron Fists on the right-hand flank. Double Giant, we shall name one Professor and the other one Pone, and then in the middle we have a Tyrant, which is pretty damn cool, coming in with some pretty awesome stuff all round, because I love the fact that this ability is called Arsebelcher, and he farts so badly it gives -8 leadership, which is ridiculous and amazing at the same time. Of course, he's brought his snackos, he's packed his lunchbox here, and he's going to be getting some nice replenishments on his hit points when in combat. We've got Greedy Fists, Missile Resistance, and of course he does indeed cause fear. Without further ado, let's get this battle underway as we do start to unleash a few shots towards the enemy. Of course, these Soul Grinders are much better at taking down enemy infantry than they are single entities or kind of like large monsters infantry like this, but we have to work with what we've got. Apologies there, my game just cut out and came back in. Hopefully that wasn't too annoying for you guys. And we are going to delve into the action now. So the Death Heads are going to be floating over towards the Giants. Just trying to focus them down where possible. Now, of course, our armor piercing's not going to do anything against them, but they're still big targets. I'm hoping we can at least whittle down one giant before the main fight does get underway. Otherwise, we could be in quite a few problems. Soul Grind's going to continue to shoot in as well, trying to take aim at the enemy infantry and hunt down the Man-Eater Great Weapons where possible. Noblars have started to do a bit of counter-skirmishing up against the Plague Drones. Not the best at taking down air units though, so we should be able to move away relatively comfortably from that. And the Giant has taken considerable damage. You know, got to give our Death Heads their due, although of course they will have to basically kill at least 1.5 Giants to get anywhere near pain for themselves. Soul Grinders continue to poke at the Man-Eaters where possible, and the Forsaken are moving out to the flanks. Now, Ogres are actually pretty damn swift, though, so we are going to have to fight them. I'm not going to be able to kite for too long with my infantry, who do turn to engage. Should do okay up against the Iron Fist. They only have 50 armor, which isn't too crazy, and the Forsaken have great damage stats, despite the fact they're not anti-large or armor piercing or any of that kind of nonsense. The Forsaken once again going to charge in, looking to counteract the Man-Eater Great Weapons here, and buy time for the Soul Grinder to turn around and unleash some shots into the enemy, doing some okay damage. The Toads did manage to escape, and the Soul Grinder is going to flee through the trees and kite backwards as quickly as possible. Up in the skies, the Death Heads have almost used up the entirety of their ammunition. They have got the Giant relatively low, though, down to 4,700 HP. I think we've also been getting a couple of Spirit Leeches in there as well, though, to try and take this bad boy out. I'm really trying my hardest. We do manage to dip and dive there under a swinging club from the Herald of Nurgle in their attempt to escape there. It looks like the Plague Toads are coming in for a fat surround, looking to pin it in place so the Plague Drones can dish out the pain. Forsaken do go down to the Man-Eaters, unfortunately, and it looks like that's going to be kind of the tail of the tape all the way along. Soul Grinders are still going to be kiting. Forsaken having a little bit of a rough time, though, and it looks like the Tyrant is in hot pursuit. The Herald of Nurgle going to float out to the side with the Soul Grinder and jump on top of the Man-Eaters, looking to overwhelm them and help support the Forsaken where possible. So this is a decent little engagement for me. Looks like we also came in there with a nasty spell or two. One Giant may eventually go down here. The Death Heads have moved into hand-to-hand combat. The Toad as well are nipping at his heels. That's just 1,700 or 1,600 now HP. Hopefully we can drag low one of these scary beasties. It looks like the Plague Drones did decide to float over and try and get some free value on the Noblar Trappers, who have been a bit of a pain shooting me in the sky, so I needed a little bit of revenge down there. In the main fight here, Soul Grinders continue to kite away, back away from the Man-Eater Iron Fists. Likewise, the Herald Nurgle is going to be hunting down Man-Eaters, and the Soul Grinder needs to get out of here. There's a lot of great weapons and tyrants around, and he can definitely scuttle away as quickly as possible. He reminds me a lot of a character from a TV show called The Clone Wars. I won't go into, I guess, for spoilers, but yeah, the Soul Grinder looking pretty awesome. It seems like our Forsaken battling to the bitter end might actually be able to drag down this unit of great weapons, which is pretty impressive work, considering they are currently outnumbered 2-1. We are going to drop a nasty Spirit Leech on this giant. I'm desperate to kill it, but they managed to kill all of my toads and is still going here. 288 HP. Die, die, die. That is what I'm screaming at my monitor pretty much constantly here. And with 14 HP, he doesn't break. I don't know what this giant is made of, but it is sterner stuff than I. And he is just happily trudging away there, despite being incredibly weakened. There's another Tyrant's going to pop Foe Seeker, and he is yeeting right now. My god, look at that speed on my chunky boy as he charges down after the Soul Grinder, who is currently leaking, and it should hopefully be able to escape, particularly if we have the Death Heads nearby to intercept and jump the nasty Tyrant. We are using our mobility of our flies to eat up Man-Eaters, devouring them. They were here to seek and slay men. No man can kill me. Luckily, we are no men, and we are jumping on top of the Man-Eaters and finish them off. It looks like they should hopefully break. The Tyrant continues his pursuit of the mighty Creepy Crawly. This giant's still alive on 14 HP. It is honestly ridiculous that this guy hasn't broken right now. This is like the greatest leadership of all time. And he's got 25 leadership. He's not even scared. He's not worried about nothing. It's insane. So the Man-Eaters do go down here due to some good work by the Herald and the Plague Drones. There's still a full health giant on the battlefield. Balance power is relatively even, but I'm not quite sure why. Soul Grinder does get slowed down as well by Dismember, lowering its acceleration as well as top speed there. It should now be able to kite once more, though, and fall back away from this rather angry Tyrant. It looks like that giant did eventually go down. He's, I did not miss him, honestly. I'm quite happy that he's dead here, so we can have a nice little cinematic shot of his corpse. And our Death Heads are now going to be flying over, just try to intercept units. Soul Grinder's going to turn and fight whilst the Death Head's coming for a rear attack, looking to break off isolated units where possible. You can see we're doing the exact same thing to the opponent's general. Death Head, Soul Grinder, and my own Lord all jumping in on the action. Tyrants are incredibly tanky, though, particularly due to the fact they have the potential to heal. And he is poisoned, taking considerable losses right now. But what's that coming over the hill? Is it a big angry tribe of ogres? Yes, it is a big angry tribe of ogres. So we've got Man-Eaters and the great weapon varieties, plus a giant all on the approach. We have some Forsaken coming back from the tree line, looking to get involved in the action once more. The Soul Grinder Death Heads continue an attempt to scrap here on the Man-Eater Iron Fist, doing a decent job. Bounce Power is still in the dead even at the moment, as these Death Heads have beautiful animations coming in there. Their stingers should be enough to poison and slow down the Man-Eaters and eventually overwhelm them. It looks like I did have to give up my hot pursuit of the Tyrant. He took some damage, but again, he's very tanky. He has the ability to snack on some tacos and get back into the game regardless. Soul Grinder continues to launch shots in, hitting the Man-Eaters and just trying to do a little bit of poke. Actually, have a load of ammunition left so far. Looks like eventually those Iron Fists do shatter, though. The Plague Drones and Herald's going to be popping over here, looking to intercept the enemy once more and drag them down. Forsaken have even got back in on the action. I'm going to be dropping the Spirit Leeches now on this big, scary giant because I need to get it off the field as quickly as possible. It is certainly the unit which packs the most punch left in my opponent's build. Noblar Trappers should hopefully go down, likewise these Iron Fists. Man, the Ogre leadership has been really strong today. They have not broken for anything. And now we have the Great Weapons coming in, just clubbing the Soul Grinder. Hitting this so hard they make it flinch and kind of roar in frustration at them. And they're going to be doing some nice damage for sure. So the Soul Grinders attempting a bit of a cheeky retreat there. Up in the skies, the Plague Drones have got it away from the enemy once more. We managed to feast on the souls of the Noblar Trappers and then once again escape the Giant. We pull him back with our range units and try to cope with some shots in. We do have the Soul Grinder in the distance firing, but it's a quite long range here. It's not the most accurate of boyos. Only 6 kills. Let's see how his mortar shots do land. And yeah, hit a big blob. We also come with a Purple Sun, which you may be thinking, why would you use Purple Sun? I mean, Spirit Leech wasn't really getting me very far. I was like, I need something that's hopefully going to do damage to the infantry. Unfortunately, it doesn't hold on them for super long. It does some damage. Again, it's not great against monstrous infantry. It's really designed to kill enemy foot troops. Or like, you know, basic infantry troops like these Noblars, for example. But I just want to do a bit of spread damage. And the Spirit Leech, it's going to be the long con trying to take down this Tyrant as well as the Giant. I had so much Winter Magic, I was like, why not? Soul Grinder's going to continue to pound in, doing some nice long-range damage. My opponent is in hot pursuit still. I'm going to have to commit to a final fight soon, though. I really do need to jump this Tyrant and try and kill him. That's my only way to win this game. If I can take out enemy leadership, maybe I can break off the rest of his forces. And I'm going to be fleeing with the Soul Grinder, as the other Soul Grinder does indeed shoot. And the Plague Drones start to get into position with the Herald going in for that kind of all-or-nothing snipe on the enemy general. So I'm going to continue to run away with the Soul Grinders in a heroic retreat, I should say. Not a cowardly retreat. I'm not fleeing for my life. It is a heroic retreat. Tactical one, I tell thee. And the Soul Grinder is nearly out of ammunition now. Just 3 volleys left. And I decided at this point, I don't think I can win. So I was like, I'm just going to go for the Leroy Jenkins. I'm going to go all in on the enemy general, try to distract my opponent's units with the Death Heads, and jump at him with the Soul Grinder, and just unleash a few shots from long range rather than continue to kite, and just see how it goes. We do have one of the heals coming down, which is also replenishing our vigor on all of these flyers here, which is quite nice. That is from our Herald of Nurgle, one of his abilities. We're going to be dropping a Spirit Leech down on the Tyrant as well. Really trying to snipe him down. 4,300 HP. It is our only hope. The rest of my opponent's build is pretty distracted here by the Plague Drones, who are doing a relatively solid job just up against the Great Weapons and picking apart the Giant. So in comes my General, as well as the Soul Grinder. I'm trying my hardest to kill this Tyrant. In comes the second Soul Grinder as well, slamming him in the back with one of his metal claws. And it is a 3-on-1 scrap. And the Tyrant all of a sudden starts taking really heavy damage here. And I'm thinking, you know what, maybe I can do this. Bounce power starts going into my favor. And the Tyrant is taking a slap, and he's attempting to get back to his homies. And my opponent realizes a mistake. He's going to start moving over the Man-Eaters as well as the Giant to engage with my General and attempt to save his own, who is wavering and very close to breaking. We're chucking everything in. We do get hit by a Dismember, though, slowing our speed, and that should allow my opponent's Tyrant to escape if he pulls back through friendly troops. And it looks like that's just what he's doing here, which is a disaster for me. I pop a Spirit Leech on him as well, looking to finish him off. But of course, he has those Snackos in his back pockets, and he seems to be stabilizing just about, despite the fact we have the Herald in here doing some decent damage, and the double Soul Grinder duking it out. Plague Drone's going to be doing a little bit of circle charging, coming down into the rear of the enemy units once more. Looks like one unit Plague Drones may well go down. The Ogres are surrounded. This must be so annoying. Just the buzzing in your ears, the stabbing in your ears. It's just not a good day for anyone. Plague Drones are continuing to scrap, as well as the Soul Grinder here. Giant's doing some really big damage, though. And it looks like we are going to get a big fat buff or debuff put down on us. What is this going down? It does not say in the tooltip, so I'm just going to assume it's my awesomeness is giving us a bonus. And the Soul Grinders are trying their hardest right here to duel the enemy Giant. And the big problem here is this Tyrant, of course, is just able to survive. If he can stick in the middle of his own troops, it's going to be really hard for me to drag this one back. And it looks like the Plague Drones are just about spent. If we have a look around the battlefield, there is basically nothing left. There is 2 Man-Eaters on their way, but they probably won't make it back into the fight. Although, actually, I don't know. Ogre seem to have pretty good leadership, so maybe they'll be able to come in here and scrap. Once again, we drop a Spirit Leech on the Tyrant, just hoping to look and buy time at some point. Maybe I'll be able to get a big attack on it. Lovely headbutt comes in by the Giant, pushing back the Soul Grinder. Once again, no siree, today you shall not pass. And it looks like he's coming and doing a pretty decent duel up against the Soul Grinder in general, as the rest of the Mighty Soul Grinders do a decent job. We do manage to push back the Giant there. My opponent is staying out of danger with the glorious Tyrant here. I believe he has to be in combat to heal up, though. So he's going to try and do a cheeky bit of cycle charging now and again. And there you can see, now that he's in combat, he is actually getting healed up quite considerably there. One Soul Grinder going to go down. Bounce power is still somehow in our favor, which is quite surprising. Probably due to the HP from our Lord compared to our opponents, but both Soul Grinders are starting to go down here. The Tyrant with the Giant Man-Eaters is beating up this Soul Grinder, and the Giant did just 1v1 the other one. My little Herald is being glorious all battle, though, being very impressive. Really cool model as well. He's trying to do some flips and tricks and buzz around the Giant. We have the Curse of the Slug going down on all these units. I basically run out of everything at this point. I was chucking whatever I could at the enemy. I even drop a Spirit Leech on the Giant, so I'm like, at least he can't heal it back. Maybe if I can kill this Giant really quickly, I might be able to break the enemy infantry and kill their general. I don't know. I'm praying to the Nurgle gods for forgiveness and some kind of way for victory. And it doesn't seem like they're giving it to me, as the Soul Grinder is currently unstable, and the Herald is getting his arse absolutely walloped here by the Giant. I'm sorry for the cough there, guys. Soul Grinder does get pushed back, and all of a sudden bounce power goes massively against me. I continue to scrap out like a child, of course, but the Herald, there is nothing the Herald can do against such reckless Ogre hate. My opponent does come for the surround, and though we've had a decent fight, we nearly kill the Giant. At this point, I was like, I just want to kill the goddamn Giant. I do also go after the Tyrant, and, you know, hey, if I kill the Tyrant, maybe a leadership break. But it was a good fun nonetheless, and the dreaded Nurgle Kite was put back on the box, in its box, on its shelf, and left to rot as it always should be. But still a really fun game nonetheless. I was quite happy with the Death Heads. We put a lot of work in though. They're very expensive. I think they're a little bit too pricey, to be honest, for what they do. 50 kills and 39 kills, 1.2k and basically 1.2k gold value apiece. not shabby whatsoever, but my Herald was definitely the MVP for me. 2.9k gold value, and a pretty decent performance by him. Just the old nasty classic Spirit Leech kind of run away and pew pew at the enemy. Well played to my opponent. We had a couple of good games. Of course, this one, I think I may have sent one of the other ones off to be cast by Logic or something, so hopefully you'll see me against him again in the future. I believe he was called like the Orangutan or something. It was a combination of orangutan and orange anyway, so well played to you, sir, if you do somehow manage to find this video. And yeah, hopefully we meet you again at some point in the future. Definitely a big fun build, big fan of the Double Giant. That was some very cool stuff. I'll delve into the kills, damage dealt, gold value, and all that good stuff in just a second. But if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a big fat juicy thumbs up. Subscribe as well to the channel for more content into the future. It really helps out. And comment down below what you thought of the battle. There's a load of links in the description, Twitch, Patreon, Discord. I would have actually streamed on Twitch probably the day before this comes out, but I'm getting back to that now. Going to be doing some fun games of Logic over there, which should be some good fun in general. So let's check out the armies and damage and so forth. So 2.9k, 4 kills, very nice from the Herald of Nurgle, or of Death, I should say. 1.5k and 898 on the Soul Grinders. Of course, not the best matchup for them, but I wanted to try out and see if we can make it work. We've already gone over the Plague Drone at Death Heads, but basically 1.2k damage value on them. Forsaken, really not terrible. 939 gold value, 1,000 gold value. Okay, 450 is not great, and the Plague Toads are probably quite a big mistake. But despite that, the Forsaken, not terrible up against Ogres. Yes, everything's large, but you do so much damage, it doesn't really matter. 1.5k on the enemy Tyrants being so tanky and sticky. Only 320 gold value on this Giant does make me very sad, but his brother, the Mighty Pone, did get 2,224 gold value, really kind of carrying the weight for both of them. The Grey Weapons are big, pretty fantastic, great pain in my butt, with 2.9k gold value, 2.7k value, and then only 600 on the other ones. The Iron Fist as well struggled, still did good. I mean, 1,200 gold and 700 gold isn't bad, but just compared to the Grey Weapons, performed a lot worse. Knobloch Trappers, 510 gold value on them. Didn't really synergize super well with the rest of the build, unfortunately. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Until next time, peace, peace. And as always, stay awesome.